Hello, this is Kevin Southfield, also known here on Facebook, YouTube, and other social media. Mr. Kev Time Speaks, also known as Cop Chaser, also known as Bravo Mike. Yeah, pardon the interruption. As I'm going live today here on Montgomery Highway here in Dothan. Earlier, just a few minutes ago, I was arrested while videotaping this same traffic stop. The officer actually instructed me or gave me what I consider to be an unlawful order while trying to interfere with me or intimidate me from videotaping. Now, at that point, I was standing between that pole and that tree right there, videotaping, which is roughly about 40 feet away from these police cars. And after asking me to move, and I'm like, first of all, I'm licensed as a media group, a media entity to videotape and observe as a neighborhood watchman, but pretty much. We don't need a license, but I actually do have a license to videotape. The officer claimed I was interfering with his operation by videotaping. Now, I had to take a one for the team, so to speak, and go to jail and be bonded out because it's our right to videotape these people. When we see something happening, I've encouraged people to do this, and there's a reason for it, because when we don't have people out here that videotape and hold them accountable, then they're subject to do almost anything. And in order to basically keep these people fair, I've taken it upon myself, I consider it a calling. It's not a job, it's not something I get paid for, it's not something I intend to get popular doing, and it's not a popular thing, and I know people are intimidated by it, but if I have encouraged people over the last 10 years to do this, then I have to kind of lead by example, lead from the front. So videotaping the police is a right of yours, and when the police ask you that you can't videotape or attempt to take your camera, you have to stand up for yourself and videotape that part as well. And it'll be interesting to see how we can, what the city's gonna have to say about this. I consider it to be a false arrest because the definition of obstruction of a government operation is to interfere or hinder them from doing a government operation or investigation. And me videotaping from 30 feet away is by no means an interference. But when he approaches me, I've uploaded one video of me being arrested. If you go back and watch that video after this live presentation and give me your opinion as, from a layman standpoint. Now, most people don't know their rights, so it's quick to say, well, Kevin, why don't you just do what the police says? But if somebody don't challenge the law, to challenge the instruction that's being given by these officers, we never know what our legal rights are. So somebody has to do it. The very meaning of an activist is one who will stand out and speak out on behalf of other people. I don't just do this for Kevin Southfield, just for Kevin Southfield to have the right to videotape, because Kevin Southfield is fully aware of his right to videotape and film the police. But other people need to know this as well. Oh, can they take your camera, Kevin? Well, of course they can. They've done it more than one time. But you need to be on video showing them doing that. Yeah, they are being nasty. I will agree, Ms. Sabrina. They're being nasty, but guess what? I have time today. As they say, I got time today for this foolishness. But this is the type of tactics that are being used against us. Hopefully that we will, pretty much continue to be subservient to them. This is the white supremacist mentality I speak about all the time. And people say, why do you always make it racist? Well, when you got 6, 7, 8 white police officers that pull up on the scene and constantly stopping black motorists and constantly find a way to get into their cars by whatever means, by lies and deceit. And when you don't comply with them, they bring out the dog and conduct these impromptu searches and illegal searches, violating your Fourth Amendment rights and as well as your rights to due process. But the Fourth Amendment rights give you the right to be free from these illegal searches and seizures. Most people don't understand that. Most people don't know that and what that means. They're concerned about the Fifth Amendment, stuff they heard on TV, but that's just in case they ask you questions, you have the right to remain silent. But the Fourth Amendment is one that we definitely have to protect, because this protects us from having our homes, cars, and personal property rummaged through and peeped through by the police. So there's no secret to any officer who's been in this town, to any individual who's been in this town. Just as Ricky Stokes has went around for the last 15 years videotaping the police and videotaping different scenes and different incidents, then we'll please, if you'll refrain from calling my phone while I'm videotaping people that call. I understand you're concerned, I appreciate that. But doing this live video presentation, there's a purpose for this message, and I want to get it out. But this is probably just a simple, routine traffic violation, whatever the case may be. But I rode by it and observed 2 black females who were standing outside the car, had every piece of luggage they own scattered on the ground, and doing what I normally actually been called to do. I come around and find a parking lot in which to park and approach that hill to where I can get a good view of it I did not pass that tree. Okay, now that tree is, in my guesstimation, is a good 30 feet. Let me back up a little bit. That's a good 30 feet distance. So I don't see how I can possibly interfere with or impede or obstruct these officers from doing their job. Now, I happen to know for a fact that officers are trained to stay a safe distance between them and the threat, to keep a safe distance between themselves and the threat. So if I was a threat to the officers, why would they approach me and come within distance? As a matter of fact, approach me without even having a mask on. And these officers have tendency to believe that they either immune or have they been inoculated from having COVID-19. But I don't care if you're wearing a police uniform or wearing a parachute. I don't feel any more safer with you than I do an average stranger coughing in my face. And this man was close enough to kiss me because he was upset in his feelings. And this was Officer Fisher who conducted this investigation and this traffic stop. And he's gone to great lengths, I guess, to intimidate me and remove me from the scene. But here it is, I went to jail and came back, and he's still here conducting this traffic stop. And I'm still yet not intimidated. I'm yet not obstructing him from doing what he's doing. So I'd be curious to see what happens to these charges. People say, man, why you don't sue these people? Well, sometimes you can get just as much effect with the leverage that you use with the lawsuit. But in this case, if you will, please, viewers, if you're on this phone and you're viewing the video, please abstain from calling the phone while I'm doing the video. Thank you. I appreciate your concern. I'm grateful for it, but it interrupts the video. But again, we're here on Montgomery Highway. This is Kevin Southwell, also known as Bravo Mike, and I'm videotaping here as I return to the scene after being falsely arrested for doing the very same thing. Standing more than 30 or 40 feet away from the police, but yet I was arrested and taken to jail for doing this very same thing. Now I commend the people at the jailhouse for doing a very good job of processing me in and processing me out. I don't have anything bad to say about them. But these officers right here, and people wonder why I don't have any respect for them, because of these illegal tactics they use to try to intimidate people, and it just so happened they run up on one who's not easily intimidated. But Mr. Reeves, of course, he'll be reported to a supervisor, but they have supervisors there. You see, again, please refrain from calling my phone if you will, please. But anyway, that's Corporal Kendrick on the scene. I spoke with him while being handcuffed in the back of a police car, and he's been videotaped on this phone many, many times himself, and he acknowledged that, hey, you know, Kevin, we have asked you to move back in the past, but if you've asked me to move back in the past and I've moved back, then what makes you think today I decided that? Now, I don't know why is it that people continue to call on my phone. If you're on video, if you're on live and watching this video, then you would know that I can't answer the phone and conduct my video at the same time. I appreciate you all's concern, but please quit calling the messenger. Thank you. Again, in the background, what you see here is Corporal Kendrick and Police Officer Fisher who conducted this false arrest. And we're going to see just how this thing plays out, because it won't be just business as usual with these guys. Now, I have been kind of laid back in doing this COVID-19. I've been kind of laid back, minding my own business, tending to my personal affairs. But now it's time to pretty much start back following these people. And for this, it's worth generating some type of support. We're going to have to get together and have a coalition of people together. It has to be more than just Mr. Kev time out here trying to keep these people honest and keeping our streets safe. It has to be a group and a community showing. We have to show up in force. I can't, in good conscience, ask other people to videotape these people and then I be intimidated to videotape myself. So we have to all pretty much come together, and we start rolling around here patrolling them like the Black Panthers, then they'll get their mind right. But as long as they're one individual that they can walk up on and they feel that they can intimidate, and they will. Just so happen they walked up on the right one today. Now, I'm not saying like I have no superpowers or have no anything in particular, but I operate with the same cell phone and the same data that anybody else does, but I choose to use it to protect myself and to protect those around me in the community. This is the least and the most we can do under the circumstances. Again, this is a simple traffic violation that escalated into me being arrested for videotaping them. I appreciate all the concern from the people who view these videos, and I hope that people get the message behind the videos. This is not just simply to defy the authority of the police, but this is to enforce the law just as they enforce it, to make sure that they stay honest and they're not going around violating people's rights at will. They believe that because people are no one wakes up in the morning and says, hey, it's a good day to go to jail. Especially me, even though I've been there many times, there's no good day to be arrested. But I was just falsely arrested after the officer tried to intimidate me from videotaping him. And so he made it known from the beginning that he was not familiar with who I was, but I believe before this day is over with, and definitely before the week is over with, he will know who Mr. Cab Time is. And he will know that he cannot prevent us from videotaping him, no matter how forceful his language is, no matter what type of lies he tells, what type of threats he make. We have the right to videotape the police, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And I say we as a community, this is done on behalf of the community and the people who are less fortunate, people who don't know their rights, people who cannot afford lawyers, people who cannot go into a courtroom and represent themselves. And this is why I stand out front as an advocate for the people. But while I have you on this video live, let me just make something known to you. In next year, in 2021, not only will there be a new presidential election, there'll also be an election of our mayor and our city commissioners need to participate and take part in, because the police in Dothan have pretty much gotten out of control. Yes, we have some things that we have to deal with in our own community, such as inflicting crime and harm amongst each other, but that's something we have to deal with internally. That's not something that we can expect them to come and save us from. We have to learn how to diffuse situations ourselves. We have to learn how to stop going by and believing in these old attitudes like minding your own business, but everybody is each other's brother's keeper. So if you about to harm my brother, then you about to harm me. If you about to harm my sister, then you about to harm me. If you about to harm one of our elders in the community, then you about to bring harm to me. So the same way I police the police, if I see something taking place in the community, then I have a right to stand in and defend those who can't defend themselves. And this is not the same thing as getting involved in some people's drama and shootouts. That's a whole different story. But when innocent people sitting in their houses and dying as a result of gun violence due to drive-by shootings, I have zero respect for a coward who shoots in a house with no regard for human life. I have zero respect for you. So if you're that bold and bad, I guess, you might come out shoot at my house one day or shoot me on the street one day. I have zero respect for you, and there's a place that for you. You need to be in jail. If you got beef with somebody, address that. I've been in several shootouts in my lifetime, been shot a couple times, been stabbed a couple times. But I take out my aggression on those who I can identify as an enemy. If you don't identify the enemy, you shooting into a car, shooting into a house, I'm afraid you're probably going to live or not live to regret it. But that's a cowardly move, and I just want to make that be known. Now, I don't cooperate with the police, and I don't call the police by any means under no circumstances. I've been handling my own business for 53 years. But for those who go out and commit senseless, violent acts with no regard for the children and the elders and the women of our community, you need to be in jail. You probably need to be dealt with on the street, hold court in the street for you. That's how I feel about that. If you got a problem with somebody, address them. I believe by example, as I said, if I got a problem with anybody, everybody knows I'm going to come pull up on you, and I ain't hard to find. That ain't being gangster, that's just being real and being who I am and standing for what I stand for. So if you stand for something and you're about that gunplay, then why is it that when these people pull up, you put the gun down? Why is it that you let these people lock you up and arrest you with AKs and Dracos? Why are you allowing these people to catch you in a house with 20 guns and 10 bags of dope? But if I come in the house and take 10 bags of dope from you and 100 guns, it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a killing. You're probably going to kill up everybody I know for robbing you. But I feel like if you that bold and you've already decided that you don't give a damn, you about that life, you're going to live by the sword and you're going to die by the sword, then this is the opportunity right here. These people are trained for war. These people trained for war. And apparently these people out here conducting all these killings, you all apparently believe you trained for war. You need to soldier up and stand up for your people. Use your boldness and your aggression to come and defend your community. You that bold, I need soldiers. And I'm not crying out or screaming or announcing an invitation for a war. What I'm saying is stand up for yourself. Use your guns, use your phones, use your boldness to stand up. Only a coward shoot behind a wall or shoot into a occupied dwelling, occupied car, irregardless of who they may strike. Only a coward would do that. So I don't need no cowards on my team, but I'm calling for soldiers though. I'm calling for people who are going to stand up and be strong and face these people. And you cannot necessarily beat them with firepower. You can't beat them with sticks and stones. But the pen in this case is mightier than the sword. Now, I don't make a lot of long, drawn-out posts on this page because I know people's attention span is like mine. You don't have time to sit there and read a damn book. And hence the beginning of these videos. These videos started as a way of defending myself and to expose them and the harassment. How they'll take one person who stands up to them and they'll make an example out of him and ruin his whole lifestyle, interrupt his whole way of living, give him tickets, create a hardship, give him fines and restitution, and make it impossible for him to get a good job because he's always in the news and always in the newspaper and always on the front of Ricky Stokes. And by the way, as I mentioned Ricky Stokes, here's a little tidbit of information that people need to know. You know, this so-called enforcer paper that comes out now, and I believe if not owned by Ricky Stokes, he's been bought into it and have a financial stake in it. So when you buy it, you put money in his pocket. Same as when you go to A Advantage Bunny, you put money in his pocket. Why is that a problem for our community to put money in Ricky Stokes' pocket, and why we should not do business with Ricky Stokes, whether it's buying the enforcer, looking at his Ricky Stokes news page, or calling his bonding company? Why is it that we should not continue to give this racist person our money? Because he supports the Klan. It's a proven fact that he and Chief Parrish both are racist supremacists. That's a proven fact. So this is why Ricky Stokes is, in my way of thinking, the enemy to our community. He's been sucking money out of our community and basically taking advantage of our people for long enough. This is the same man who arrested and locked 2 young black men up and chained them up to the courthouse door at the city jail, at the city court. So anybody who had an experience with Ricky Stokes, Ricky Bex of Guaranteed Bonding, anybody that Ricky Stokes of A Advantage Bonding, if you had any dealing with them, you know what I'm saying is true. Now, back to those papers. That keep says stop supporting them papers. Back to those papers. Since he now has control over, or he powers the enforcer, notice the people that he don't want to be in the enforcer are not in the enforcer. Now, I was called to the scene the night that Pastor Ken Glasgow was arrested, and Ricky Stokes, I was told, that was sitting there videotaping the entire incident, and he happened to be a personal friend of Ken Glasgow as well as his bondsman. He spoke in his behalf in court. But my point is, that night I didn't notice him state that story on his page, but he was there live covering the story. But for some reason, the story didn't make it to his page. And this is no insult or jab at Glasgow. I consider he and I both personal friends, and we pretty much, do the same thing, advocating for the community. But my point is, when it comes down to dispensing justice and being fair with this media, there's a reason why he didn't put his story on his page. Not that I would have known, because I don't go watch it, but the first time I seen it printed was in the news, and that was a day later. But for him to be on the scene videotaping and taking pictures, but it not be on his page, that's a form of favoritism and discrimination. He puts on the page who he wants to put on the page. So why would you do business with him and he's selecting the people he want to expose in his on the enforcer and on Ricky Stokes News? But if you're doing business with him and paying him money, then he won't put you on there. Again, if you're watching the video live, you understand I cannot answer the phone. It's a moot issue to continue to call. I appreciate your concern, but please refrain from calling while I'm videotaping live. Thank you. Again, this is Kevin Southwood. I'm videotaping live here on Montgomery Highway. The Dothan Police had just arrested 2 black females that were taken from this vehicle. When I approached the scene, they were searching luggage that was taken out of this car. Can't say that anything in contraband that was found. I wasn't allowed to continue videotaping. I've had to take a trip to jail and back. So I didn't wake up this morning with the intentions of going to jail. But that's what happens. Sometimes you have to take one for the team. So when you see me out here, no, I wouldn't let go. I was arrested. When I was put in handcuffs, I was arrested for doing this very same thing I'm doing right now, videotaping these people. But he didn't want me to be where that tree is right there. And it's zoomed in now, but if you can see the distance, that's why I returned to the scene with the intentions of measuring the distance between that tree and those police cars. Because where I was standing, and I walk back to that point now, where I was standing was exactly right here. If you watch the first video that I posted on my page, you can see these same trees overhanging in my foreground. This is where I was standing. Absolutely, Mr. Franklin. I went to jail for videotaping from right here. I'm standing behind the line of trees, which is well over 30 feet away from the highway or Montgomery Highway. But yet I was told I had to walk down to the end of the street. He wanted me to walk down basically across the street to where them crepe myrtle trees are. Now, that don't make sense. That means I asked him what would be the legal distance that I can videotape you from. He could not tell me that, but he wants me to stand over on the other side of that street to videotape. And no, Ms. Law really is not against the law to videotape the police. I videotaped the police for the last 10 years almost. And so anybody who watched this page knows that I'm not the one to be intimidated, and I'm not the one to interfere with their job. I'm not going to walk up on them while they're conducting their job. I've been arrested and charged with assault and resisting arrest for this very same thing. So it's not uncommon for me to take one for the team. This is not a heroic move. It's just one of them things where it has to be done. If I would allow him to intimidate me to putting down my camera, if I allow him to intimidate me to put down my camera, then I really can't expect any of you all to do the same thing. I can't expect you all to videotape the police if I won't do it. I can't encourage that, but somebody said the legal distance is 10 feet. Well, I appreciate you all, some of y'all who are at home and around the computer, Google that. What is the legal distance, if there's any such thing? If there's any such thing as a legal distance in which to videotape the police. Some people here are saying 10 feet. Well, I'm more than 30 feet away from where they were conducting their investigation. They were conducting a search. And I'm standing behind the tree line here, and this is where I was videotaping from. So it'll be interesting to see how Judge Rose, this case will be in front of the city judge. It'll be interesting to see how the municipal court judge interprets this as obstruction. Somebody has to take them to task on this obstruction crime. This is a crime that's typically used by DPD to intimidate people and force people to do what they want them to do, or otherwise go to jail for obstruction. Now, I gave them ample warning, and I even defined this law for them before being arrested, but yet they continue to do that, and I encourage them to do, by all means, do what you feel like you must do. But this is the officer in car 6831. That's Officer Fisher, who conducted this false arrest. So I'm gonna see if he can't tangle up. I'm gonna tangle up his little piggy bank and get his mind right, so the next person won't have to go through what I just had to go through, being arrested for videotaping. Now, before I conclude this video, I came out here for a reason to kind of walk off the distance. And since I don't have my tape measure in my pocket, I'll just use my size 13 feet and walk from this tree line right here to this highway. And I'm just curious to see how many feet that is. I'm gonna count them off for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It's 25 feet based on my calculation. I look down here, and this is where I was standing behind that tree videotaping the police. And before I conclude the video, as I said before, I didn't get on here with the intentions of really making a long, drawn-out message. But this is a message to people who are in Dothan. This is not something I can continue to do by myself. This is something I need the people in the community to kind of participate in and take an interest in. Why should you be interested in it? Because if you've seen something, if you haven't learned anything else in the last, say, month or so, this is not limited to Kevin Sappho. This is not just limited to black men. This is not just limited to black boys. Black women are being abused. Black women are being tased. Black women are being sprayed with pepper spray. We just had an incident where I interviewed 2 young ladies in my office about a week ago that were stopped by the police for failing to use a turn signal 100 feet before the turn. Now, that's actually a law in the book, on Alabama on the books, but it's not being enforced anywhere but in the lower economic communities in the black people neighborhood, pretty much is what they're doing. Using that, along with a few other minor traffic violations, to single out and racially profile black people and hide behind these different minor violations. We had to put a stop to that. How do we put a stop to that? We can't expect our commissioners, Kevin Dorsey, District 1, Janaska Fleming, District 2, we can't expect them 2 guys to do anything. These guys have not represented us well whatsoever. This is not an indictment against them personally, but yes, they basically holding up a seat. So we about to put some people in place that can challenge both of those seats as well as the mayor. This is coming from my mouth, and if I say it on here, I intend to make it come true. We about to put together a coalition of people to challenge those seats coming up. So they might well get ready and say you heard it here first. We about to challenge District 1 and District 2 and get Kevin Dorsey and Janaska Fleming out of office. Why we want to get you out of office? Because you're not representing the people well. We elected you with the intentions of having somebody go down here and speak on our behalf and represent us, but instead you got down here and got with the good old boy system, and it continue to be business as usual. We having continue to have the same status quo. You all are getting rich while the people out here continue to get poor. You all are opening up businesses and thriving while other people out here struggling. You have not done anything to uplift the community, no programs in the community, no protection against police brutality in the community. We haven't seen Kevin Dorsey do anything outside from put up some signs and probably put up some bouncy houses and give away some hot dogs when it's time to be elected. But this year, we're going to show them that we're smarter than that. In 2021, we smarter than that. We're not going for the banana in the tailpipe no more. We ain't going to let you sell us these dreams about what you're going to do about these roads and what you did about putting a pool in the community. You put a pool in the community that had a pool there since I was born. It was always a pool at Lincoln Community Center until they came around and turned it into something else, a damn girls club. But so Kevin Dorsey don't have anything on his track record that he can use to say that he's done anything. You've been elected 2 times. First time you had over 650 votes. The second time you had over 620. And I'll give you 1,300 votes together and you still won't win. But I'm calling you out today. I'm going to challenge you in that District 1 race, and we also going to challenge Janaska Fleming in the District 2 race, because we tired of these house Negroes sitting down here, taking a free check, meeting twice a month, and not doing anything. Now, people want to know, what is the commissioner's job? Well, they voting on everything that go around here. They have the authority to decide how they settle lawsuits, how they spend the city's money, how they build roads in the community, where they're going to put speed bumps on your road. The city commissioner basically run the city's checkbook. And we got some people down there who fat in their own pockets and looking out for each other and their crew. I won't bother to call their names right now, but it's unimportant. But they're doing favors for people they want to do favors for and selling their influence. That's what they're doing. They removed Amos Newsom from the commissioner's panel under some false pretenses in order to replace him with somebody who don't have a clue. The blind can't lead the blind. Kevin Dorsey can't teach Janaska Fleming how to be a good black commissioner because he don't know how to be one. Now, why is it necessary to use the word black? Because who lives in District 1 and District 2 besides predominantly black people? So these 2 black commissioners are responsible for representing the constituents in these black lower income communities, so I'm calling them out. I really can care less about what happened in District 3, 4, 5, and 6 because we don't have no control over it. We got a handful of people who live there, but there's probably not one black person in this town who can run a race in the district, which is why Kevin Dorsey don't use his actual living address, his primary address. He used District 1 so he can get the 600 votes and win. But I'm afraid to tell you this time, God willing, 600 votes won't get you in office, mister, because you're going to be seeing me this time. 600 votes won't get you in office. So you all heard it from the horse's mouth. In 2021, Kevin Southpole will be running for office because we had to get some of these house Negroes out of here. Because like I said, as the viewer commented, blind can't lead the blind. That's absolutely true. We can't expect another commissioner to come on and learn anything from Kevin Dorsey because he don't know much. He's a puppet being dragged by the strings. So he can't teach anybody anything. But back to the issue at hand, these officers around here. One of the first things I'm going to do when I get into office is I'm going to ask for the decommission of the police force until we can start over again. We need to start chopping the head off and reconstruct the whole new department. And that starts with cutting off the head of the police department, Chief Parrish. Remove his ass from the office and everybody who under him. Yeah, there might be some good officers. Some of them I may like personally, but they ain't got a damn thing to do with it. It need to be done. Y'all might get a job in the jailhouse somewhere. You might have to go find you something else to do. I don't even want you over the inmates in the jailhouse. I want you gone. Starting from the Chief Police Parrish on down. I'm calling for your head. And the best way to get there is to take a position in their office in there and start working from the inside out. We need people inside city government to shake something up in Dothan. Aren't you all tired of being led by the same old racist ass people, the same people who slaved and worked the damn hell out of our grandparents and ancestors? We still being ruled by the same tyrants right now. We still in this town, even though we supposed to be free, we still being treated like slaves here in Dothan and Houston County. People talk about what's happening in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in Ferguson, Missouri. But the same damn thing happened in Dothan, Alabama. We just ain't been exposed to it enough yet. Everybody who got a voice and comes out to speak out, guess what? They found a way to arrest in the advocate. Look at Glasgow. Now, since I brought his name up, I'll take the time now to comment on that. Pastor Ken Glasgow, person I've been knowing for many, many years. Now, what I think about these charges on Glasgow is the same thing I think about the ones on me. Most of this is a witch hunt to discredit this man and take him out of the community and basically nullify the work that he's done. So no matter how you looked at from other people, we don't know all the details about that. What he was arrested for, we don't know all that. But that murder charge with him, God bless her soul, you know, my heart goes out to the family, you know. But yet, at the end of the day, he wasn't the trigger man. I don't think that he knew that the guy he was with would go out and shoot this young lady. So I don't believe anything will come of that charge, and it's probably why he hadn't been indicted. But I say that to kind of emphasize on something. Just as it happened to me or him, it could happen to you. It's Kevin Southwood today. It was Pastor Glasgow last week. The next advocate can expect the same thing. We don't get a pass, you know. And I don't have people downtown that I can call another personal friend that can come in and get me moved into the, you know, the rehab or something. If I go back down, I got to stay down there. So if this happens to be my last video, remember y'all heard me say this here. I don't give a damn if I'm in jail when it happens. I'm gonna put my name in the hat for the commissioner's office. Might even run for mayor. It's gonna be the people's choice. What do y'all want to see, a new mayor or 2 new commissioners? We might need to do it all. It's up to us now to come out. Don't say what they won't do. Don't say what they can't do. Let's show our youngsters in our community the best way to do something by example. Let's show them that you can be something more than a drug dealer. You can be something more than a thug or so-called gang member. You can be whatever you want to be. Commissioner, mayor, whatever you want to be, business owner, entrepreneur. Let's give our kids something to look up to besides you can get an education and go work a job. That's what we're teaching our kids, to get an education, go work a job. Now, the government has shown you they can shut the whole country down, so your job don't mean nothing at the end of the day. You can't pass your job on to your kids. So quit teaching your kids just go to school, get an education, and go work for these people. Teach them how to go work for themselves, how to go get a hammer and some damn screws or something and go put up some drywall, how to go mow a yard, how to learn how to cut hair. Let's teach our kids something that we can do, you know, besides being gang members, like I said, and being tough. I've been tough all my life, but tough has got me in prison 5 damn times. Tough has got me worried my damn self to death, being tough. So it's time out for being tough. It's time to be smart. It's time to be wise. It's time to be intelligent. It's time to be articulate. All the things they say we not. When they see a young black man that's sharp and on top of his business, they say he's slick. He's a con man. Watch out for him. Or he'll take from old women. That's what they say about me. Now, anybody who knows me know everything I got it out the mud, and I ain't tricked no old ass woman out of nothing. But that's what they tell you all to throw your attention away. So when I do step up and have a message for you, you're going to take that message with a grain of salt. You're going to question that message. That's what you've been trained to do. It's called the Willie Lynch syndrome. Make them look at me a different way. But I'm the first one to tell you about my history. I'm the first one to tell you about my background. It's not squeaky clean, but it made me the person who I am today. It's the reason now why people can approach me and say, hey, man, what's up, man? I want to talk to you about a problem. Because 20, 30 years ago, your problem would have been your damn problem. I got my own problem. But now, guess what? I feel like I got a calling that I have to step up to. I'm obligated to help those who in need and trying to help themselves. That don't mean I'm the damn local charity boss. No, I ain't running around passing out checks. I ain't running around paying for light bills. That ain't what I do. If I can help you, I will. But that's not what I've been called to do. You got churches, you got organizations for all that type of stuff. But with me, I'm about to open your eyes up. I'm about to help you have the same knowledge and information I have. It does me no good to be the only one in the community that know how to stand up to the damn police. It does me no good to be the only one that's bold enough to stand up. We ain't wearing no t-shirts or holding no signs, but we need people that come out and be a voice besides Mr. Kev time. They're gonna find a way to silence me, and I keep saying this, but when I'm gone, what are you gonna do next? Who's gonna step up to the plate then? This is not an exclusive job. I'm offering anybody who wanna step up and support the mission, step up. Quit talking about it and step up. You all inbox me about a lot of different things that I'm making my business return everybody's message. But I need y'all to step in now and say, hey, Kevin, what can we do? How can we assist you in bringing our city back together? How can we get it? First of all, we got to get our people back on the accord. Before we can start joining hands with them and calling the mayor in, the chief of police in. I know people have good intentions when they do shit like that, but them people are not here to help you. The hell's wrong with y'all? Y'all done seen what happened when we rely on them. We got mothers around here right now crying their eyes out, crying their heart out right now about losing their kids to gun violence, the police, all different type of senseless killings, and we turn into them people to help us govern our community. What is wrong with that picture? What is wrong with the picture when we ask the devil, the enemy, to come and save us? Save us from who? Save us from ourselves? Because sometimes we become our own worst enemy. How did we become our worst enemy and the police shooting us and killing us and sitting us on the curb and falsely arresting us and intimidating us? We become our own worst enemy when we turn our heads to other people being abused. We are brother's keepers, so if we don't keep our brother, then we became the enemy to our brother. You're either for us or against us. You can't be straddling the fence. Oh man, I'm in my bag. I can't do nothing. I'm in my bag. Well, you need to get out your bag long enough to get on top of this, what's going on, because your bag ain't worth a damn if all your people out here struggling, people out here crying their eyeballs out because they losing kids and sisters and mamas and baby mamas to nothing. So stop relying on that and stop letting people trick you and think it's all about money. When I say sue the police, I'm trying to get somebody a job. I'm trying to get your badge, I'm trying to get that gun out your hand. I'm trying to they ask an individual to put down the guns. Hell, some of these police don't need to have no damn guns. These people go home and beat their wives at night. These people taking pills. These people on drugs. These people on prescribed medication. These people on steroids. They don't test them for that. Any job in the world, if you have an incident on the job, they're going to test you for damn drugs and performance enhancement drugs and whatnot. They don't test these people. These people go around these jobs out here every day and be on drugs and alcohol and be under all kind of stress, and then let them keep roaming. This guy, Officer Moody, shot and killed Chris Thomas in the same damn highway on Montgomery. I know he ain't seen an hour in jail. I don't think he's seen no type of therapist or whatever. This man's a killer. You got Corporal Connor on the Dothan Police Department, shot Abraham Howard in Young America, sat in his vehicle 7, 8 times, hit this man about 5 times. I don't think he's seen a damn therapist. I don't think his damn urine was tested. But anyway, I done talked, I got blue in the face. I think y'all got the message. So I'm not gonna hold you up. I appreciate y'all viewing this. If you will, go back and watch the last video. This video will be posted as well as the last one on YouTube on my channel, Mr. Bravo Mike, AKA the Cop Chaser, also known as Kevin Sappho, here on YouTube, Facebook, and other social media. I appreciate y'all attention. I need to hear from you all. Inbox me. Anybody serious about joining up and supporting the mission not going to take off. The mission about to go viral in Dothan. So join now while you still can. Don't wait till T.I. come to town or Big Mike, or so you see me standing on stage with Umar Johnson, somebody say, oh, that was my homeboy. No, you need to come in now. See what you can do to contribute to the cause right now, because we're about to take our city back. We're not going to continue to be intimidated by these young skinhead punks out here. And that's what I call them. Starting with the chief of parish on down to Fisher, the chump that just put the cuffs on me illegally. But again, as always, I greet y'all in the name of love and salute you in the spirit of peace. I'm out. Thank you.